Keeping you informed. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, and online at 610kvnu.com.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. There are 2 less dining options in downtown Logan after Gonzalez Barbecue and Even Stevens have closed their doors. In a Facebook post on Wednesday, Gonzalez Barbecue announced it would not open its doors anymore. A social media post thanked customers for their support and patronage during the last few years. The barbecue restaurant was located on 64 Federal Avenue and was open Monday through Saturday for lunch and dinner. It originally started as a food truck by some USU professors, and it moved into a more permanent location in 2021, but was originally open only on weekends. The restaurant was eventually sold to a local restaurant ownership and management group. Even Stevens, on the other hand, had been open since 2015 at 131 North Main, downtown Logan. Launched as a restaurant that intended to give back to local food banks and other nonprofit organizations with a portion of every sale of a sandwich, the parent company of Even Stevens filed for bankruptcy in 2019. The Logan location continued to operate, but over the last several months, the sandwich restaurant struggled with staffing and food supplies. A handwritten note on the doors reads, "We are closed until further notice. Thank you for your support and understanding." KVNU News Time is 5:06. KVNU weather for tonight. Increasing clouds, becoming mostly cloudy later on this evening. And patchy fog after midnight. Cold temperatures again, low around 5 below. Partly cloudy skies on Saturday. Patchy fog in the morning, haze through the day, mid-20s. And then storm system is going to graze across northern Utah, southeastern Idaho. A little bit of snow possible later on tonight, especially after midnight, 1 to 3 inches. And then a chance of snow Sunday morning, back to partly sunny skies during the day on Sunday. High temperatures mid to upper 20s. It's been to 18. It's 17 right now at KBNU. Lots of closeouts and specials as U&I Furniture gets ready for new arrivals from Furniture Market. Save on dining sets, sofas, and love sectionals. Pick out a new recliner from their big selection, where there's always a better buy at U&I, downtown Logan, 28 West, 1st North.
We start each new year filled with hope and prosperity for things to come. At Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, it's no different. Dr. Daines is so grateful to get to call Cache Valley home and continue to offer his services to the wonderful people that live in our beautiful valley. He wants to help you start your new year off right by improving your hearing, which over the course of time will help improve your quality of life. Give them a call at 435-753-4327 or 753-HERE to schedule an appointment, or you can visit them online at cachevalleyhearing.com.
KBNU News Time is 5:08. How has the Utah legislative session performed from a school district point of view? On KBNU's For the People program on Thursday, Logan City School District Superintendent Frank Schofield was in studio and expressed appreciation for local legislators and feels those in education are heard by them.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in Cache Valley to have a very involved legislative delegation that works very closely with us. We text them, well, throughout the year, but definitely during the season.
Sure.
Or during the session when we have bills we have questions about, things that we're excited about, things that we're concerned about. We text them, we call, we work with their interns, and of course we're down there regularly during the session.
Sure.
On the Hill to meet with them.
Currently, Representative Dan Johnson has a bill that addresses school safety. Many schools have active shooter drills, and his bill would standardize these and also address the best way that these topics should be discussed with younger children, such as kindergartners and first graders. Schofield got choked up when revealing that he was an elementary school principal when the Sandy Hook shootings occurred.
And I should take the moment and say this is exactly the response that educators have when these types of things happen. Because you are trying to provide a safe, engaging environment that promotes student learning and promotes student safety. We know people can't learn if they don't feel safe.
Schofield said he believes that is the driving motivation behind Representative Johnson's bill. And police in rural northeastern Nevada are looking for an arson suspect or suspects in connection with a break-in at a Mormon church in Elko where 2 fires were intentionally set over last weekend. An organ and piano were set on fire inside the chapel, and a stove was set ablaze in the kitchen at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. According to police, the blazes caused significant fire and smoke damage. Police told the Elko Daily Free Press the suspect or suspects broke a glass door to gain entry into the church on the northwest edge of town late Saturday night and started the fires. Emergency responders found several items had been removed and sitting in the parking lot when they arrived on scene at 12:10 Sunday morning. Elko firefighters put out the flames. KBNU News Time is 5:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Hi, this is Dan Jessup of Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Be aware of phone calls or emails from individuals or telemarketing companies claiming to be your Medicare advocate. The government does not assign representatives to be your personal Medicare advocate. We at Jessup Insurance want to talk to you face-to-face at our local office. We want to get to know you, help you, and be here locally for you for years to come. Call us at Jessup Insurance, 435-213-3200, or Google Jessup Insurance.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Let us guide you.
Weather changes are tough on your transmission. As we move to colder winter weather, AMCO Transmission invites you to bring your vehicle in for preventative maintenance before the snow flies. Have a diesel pickup, Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke? AMCO in Logan is your transmission specialist, and they promise to get you in quickly. For over 50 years, AMCO Total Car Care has been experts in repair for transmissions, brakes, tune-ups, and more. Find your local AMCO at 75 West, 2000 North. Call 752-1940.
Attention all high school sports fans. The season is nearly over with the playoffs right around the corner. You can still relive all the excitement on CashValleyDaily.com. Our live broadcasts of all the exciting high school games are archived and available for you to rewatch at any time. Catch all the action as it happens live, or go back and watch those great games all over again. Don't miss a single play. Follow your favorite teams and players as they battle it out on the court. Grab your snacks, sit back, and enjoy the game with CashValleyDaily.com.
It's here, your one chance this year to get Michelin tires at wholesale prices or even less during the Discount Tire and Automotive 4-day warehouse sale. Through Saturday only, Discount Tire has the guaranteed lowest prices of the year. So low that Michelin won't let them quote prices on the phone. Find the best deals on light truck tires like the Defender LTX with durable tread life no matter the season. Passenger car radials like the Michelin Cross Climate 2. Even high-performance Michelin Pilot Sport AS 4 Plus all-season tires. Discount Tire's layaway lets you take advantage of these hot prices now with 20% down, or choose 6 months no-interest financing. Discount Tire and Automotive has the lowest prices, period. They scour the competition to be sure no one beats them, online or in person. Open till 7 Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 on Saturday. Or shop anytime, day or night at webtires.net. Don't miss the lowest prices of the year, now through Saturday at Discount Tire and Automotive in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield.
Discount Tire. So much more than a tire store.
Hi, this is Drew Allen with Allen Mortuaries. Over the years, thousands of families have planned ahead with Allen Mortuaries. Planning ahead helps you make informed and thoughtful decisions. It also spares your family the stress of making these decisions under the pressure of time and strong emotions. Allen Mortuaries' secure pre-need trust plan can save you nearly 40% versus other plans. Keep it simple, safe, and secure. Go with the proven choice, Allen Mortuaries. Voted best funeral home in Cache Valley in northern Utah. Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
Now that the holidays are over, are you feeling the need to declutter and get that stale, closed-up smell out of your home? You should have your air ducts cleaned by the Duct Hunter. The dust that accumulates over time can appear as surface dust and can cause your home to smell musty and dusty. Call the Duct Hunter at 770-4813.
Save money, protect your home. We are the Duct Hunter.
Can Can you imagine what it would be like if you only had one option to choose from when buying a new car? Or while grocery shopping, you could only choose one cereal? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Hi, this is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. This may be the problem with your insurance. You're settling for one company's rates with no other options available. Auto Owners Insurance and Quality First will give you options. Quality First Insurance, 752-0101. For more information, go to q1ins.com.
Oh!
What's wrong with you?
It's either this show or indigestion. I hope it's indigestion.
Why?
It'll get better in a little while.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Friday. Beautiful, sunny, bitterly cold Friday afternoon. Such as it is in winter in Utah, right? And spring in Utah, of course, at times. It's the For the People movie show. There is actually quite a bit of new stuff hitting theaters this week and weekend. Not all of it coming to Logan, as is always the case. There is a horror movie called Winnie the Pooh, not in Logan, not in Ogden, probably playing somewhere in Salt Lake, maybe. A film called Of an Age, which appears to be kind of a Sundance-y, art housey kind of movie, starring some people whose faces I recognize but names I don't. Tom Green, Elias Anton, Gordon Stolevsky. That one won't be coming here either.
Gordon.
Marlowe. That'll be coming here, maybe.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Playing the titular, is that the right word?
Titular.
50s detective.
Yeah, it's. I'm really apprehensive about this one because I'm a big fan of the Philip Marlowe genre, the noir, they call it. Noir crime.
Can I ask you one question?
So I don't know if I want Liam Neeson doing it.
I just have one question for you.
Okay.
Did you also like Drakkar Noir?
Drakkar Noir.
I'm sorry.
No, but
I'm sorry.
I did. Well, I won't tell this story on here.
Hey,
I did have a body spray story from this week.
Oh, where you had? It's very strange to me. I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud.
That stuff is so overpowering.
Given that we're at the movie show, but it really
comes up. Have you ever sat next to someone at a movie?
Well, it's strange to me.
A little too much perfume, or a little. Yeah. They went a little heavy with the axe.
You know, speaking of. This is interesting. So
my eyes are burning.
We're talking about what's in theaters, but last week on the movie show we talked about
Cologne review.
That's right. By the way, Drakkar today in 2023, 2 thumbs down. In 1988, 2 thumbs up.
Oh man, it was the stuff.
If you don't pair it though with a turtleneck flannel and tight Guess jeans, with some I don't know, whatever. Nike Air Trainers or something, some Chucks. That was quite the.
You're also describing like what's popular now.
That's right.
It's come back around.
What's it called?
Saw Peg jeans the other day.
What's the stuff that it's like pheromones? What do they call that? And they.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the term. Anyway, it's like that, but it's. For a whole outfit.
Bait. I think is what it's called.
Just putting myself out there. That's actually really funny. Because the other thing too is once you get one compliment, we were
the rest of my life.
That's right. We were talking about this because I think I was at a dance one time, and this girl that I really had a crush on, she said, I had. The green polo, the original polo cologne.
Oh yeah,
and she was like, "Oh, that smells so good. And she's like, I don't think she knew my name, and she would call me Polo Man. Polo Man. It's better than Movie Boy.
Have you seen the ads are all over TikTok and Twitter, but the solid colognes?
Yeah, they don't work.
They're actually
they work for you?
They're not as overpowering. They do. It doesn't. The scent doesn't stick around long, but it's not. It's not. See, I've never been a big cologne user because I can't stand it on other people usually. It's just too much.
I had a bad thing happen to me one time at school.
Just choose your deodorant well. That's all you need.
That's what it was.
You don't need to. And by the way, I'm sorry, Tom's. Like if I want to smell like soup,
welcome to.
I will just use soup.
Welcome to Andy and Jason's Friday night, Friday grooming / movie show. Please use an antiperspirant.
I don't like to use aluminium if I can avoid it. I watched an Australian comedian last night, so I'm pronouncing aluminium. But have you ever seen Hannah Gadsby?
Yes.
I watched both of hers last night. She is really good.
Yeah.
That was quite a
By the way,
not exactly what you would expect as content for a comedy special, and yet hilarious. But yeah, just anyway.
Speaking of someone that
the
smells
dog
like
park story.
I was going to say,
at a dog park.
Speaking of someone that smells like soup, you are correct. Liam Neeson's movie, The Marlowe, is not that Marlowe smells like soup, but I imagine that Liam Neeson
probably does.
He's like, somebody out there's like, I'm sending him this
corned beef.
Jason, this is Liam Neeson. You referred to me as soup. I'm coming for you.
It's the only thing I'm nervous about with this one. I was really excited when I saw they were doing it because I really like that. For those not familiar, it was I think The Big Sleep, The Maltese Falcon. That it was like that era. And they overdid it, granted. And I don't care what anyone says. Chinatown is not. It's good. It's just not what everybody says.
Do we have a modern noir movie?
There have been resurgences. Remember the
L.A. Confidential
era, and then there were a lot of like copycats after that. So it bubbles back up occasionally, but I don't think we have really seen the same thing since that era.
And it wasn't screened for the press. Which, again, in this day and age, doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Well, it's just a lot of Liam Neeson running around with assault rifles, which not very noirish.
Yeah.
They were pistol carriers, and yeah.
Well, the interest part of that, too, is an interesting release because...
Wait, he did one recently that was from the noir era, but it was the Tombstones one.
Walk Among the Headstones.
And that one was good.
Yeah.
I just realized that. He did do a good... noirish.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, there isn't, to your point, there's not a lot. I actually wanted to say one other thing. You mentioned Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which, by the way, the trailer for that, it just makes you crack up.
Yeah.
But I will say, I guess that group is making they're doing a Peter Pan one.
Oh, so they're going to keep...
Well, these are all public domain, right?
Movie, yeah.
So people think Disney, but it's really public domain. You know what I mean? You can do something. But when I saw the trailer for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I was like, did someone make this in their backyard? And they may have.
It looks backyardish.
It does. It looks super.
Which, I mean, those can be great. And not everything has to be a Marvel movie budget-wise. But I think this is one of those where you should know what you're getting into.
We have so much to unpack today. I don't even know where to start. Let me lay some groundwork.
Do you want to just pick one? So wait, we got Marlowe out of the way, right?
Yeah. So the big movie opening this week, right? Which I thought was interesting. That they're like, yes, Liam. We just wanted to let you know we're going to be opening Marlowe on February 17th. Oh, cool. What else is opening that day?
Was I in that?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. So no one will probably see your show. Actually, it'll be everyone that doesn't want to go to the Marvel movie. But so a couple things. Last week we were talking about box office. We were talking about,
the story you sent along earlier this week.
Yeah, and it really started making me think. You and I talked about this last week. Like, you just saw Bob Iger was reappointed chairman of Disney.
Yeah.
And one of the things that...
Because his replacement was making everybody mad, right?
Right, which is funny because it's Bob Iger's hand-picked replacement.
They picked his replacement, and then they called him up, and they're like, "Bob, get back here. This guy sucks."
And Bob was trying to, and Bob Chapek, who was his replacement, was essentially just carrying on a lot of things that Bob Iger had put in place. But I think there is some things of the reality that we live in post-COVID. So yeah. I was trying to unpack all this because one of the things that Bob Iger did is he said, "You know what? We're going to slow down here on content."
Which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, but
I get why people. Yeah.
Last week, you and I talked about that maybe why. Big budget movies that normally would be, knock them out of the park. Blockbusters have, not really attained some of the level that, Marvel movies pre-2019, pre-Avengers Endgame did.
Yeah.
We also talked about, and we talked about that, maybe it's just there's so much available that you're like, well, why do I want to go see Marlowe? I'll wait for that to come when it's streaming, and I'll go home and watch The Last of Us, or
that was exactly my reaction to Marlowe.
Right. Yeah. There's just other things that you can do until it becomes a time where maybe it's important to you.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll never be important to you because of so much entertainment.
Maybe I'll forget about it.
Yeah.
And I've learned not to care.
So there are things like
that used to be a hang up for me. I used to actually feel some anxiety about things I wanted to watch that I wasn't getting to.
Mm-hmm.
But
same.
So this week, an example of this, I'm flipping through Netflix. I've got an hour to kill. I'm tired, but I'm not sleepy tired yet. You know that thing that goes on. And I'm flipping through, and I'm like, oh wow, I never finished Wednesday. So I watched the last episode. It had been like 4 weeks. It had been like a month.
Yeah.
And I just wandered off, I guess.
Yep.
So I watched the finale, and it was great. And I've trained myself to not get anxiety about that.
No, so on that,
there's so much.
There is. And so on that same note, one of the things that Bob Iger said is he said, we're going to have these Marvel movies come out. These people will be beholden to budgets. We're not just going to spend willy-nilly.
Isn't that kind of like the way studios usually run things?
I think what probably happens is that they just come in with a bloated budget. Instead of saying
because it's Disney and it's a bottomless well of dollars.
That's right. That's right. They are going to focus a lot, on Marvel, on Star Wars, things like that, versus dramas, I think. But they're also going to pull back on a lot of the stuff that is just being pumped into Disney Plus too. So, for instance, like there was a couple things that I think were slated for 2023, like Ironheart, which was a continuation of the character that's in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and then there was another one. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and look at it. But there was another series that they just said, okay, maybe we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things though coming out of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. One other note on Bob Iger. He also said that he was going to. We haven't had a Star Wars feature film since 2019.
Yeah.
So
they sort of announced there wouldn't be, right?
Well,
they said we're going to take some time.
They said the things are in development. So my understanding is, and this actually makes me I don't know how I feel about this. Damon Lindelof, who is not a household name, but if you were a fan of the series Lost or Prometheus, he is a name in Hollywood amongst scriptwriters that is kind of a go-to, but it's kind of a love-hate.
Like a cheaper J.J. Abrams.
Basically. He comes from J.J. Yeah, he comes.
Yeah.
So
apparently, if they can't afford a J.J. Abrams to punch up a script, then they hire him.
Well, they had him and a bunch of other writers, top writers in Hollywood. They basically had a writer's room and basically sat and brainstormed Star Wars ideas, right?
Yeah.
We obviously know Taika Waititi is working on one,
which I'm excited about.
Patty Jenkins, who's Wonder Woman director, she was actually working on a Rogue One, off of Luke's squadron, his fighter squadron,
like a spinoff.
It was going to be like more of like a war movie that progressed and then stopped. And again,
it's too bad because I think there's room for that in a.
And it may.
Star Wars.
I don't think that one's going to die completely. I just think that Patty Jenkins was involved in other things, and I think again Star Wars kind of pulled off the gas. But from what I understand, Bob Iger is saying Star Wars needs to step up their game. So let's talk about Marvel because this has to do with box office, and I think you and I have been talking for the last 3 months about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania kicks off Phase 5.
And about how it's the real...
Yes, this is the test.
This is the turning point or not.
It is.
For Marvel.
And it's... and if we do just like a little quick recap, this movie starts Phase 5, which is, as Kevin Feige introduced it, as the Kang Dynasty, this Kang series of Marvel, right? And people might not be familiar with the name Kang because you really didn't know who that was until you saw, unless you watched Loki, which was on Disney Plus.
And he's also a more obscure bad guy in the comic universe, the actual printed comic universe as well, but a good bad guy.
Yes, he is. And so I have some nice things to say about that. But if we go back post-Avengers, right, so we're talking Infinity War, Endgame, ever since then, Marvel, in my opinion, at least from a film standpoint, has been a discombobulated mess.
Yeah.
You had, the first movie I think we got was Shang-Chi, which was great, by the way.
Yeah, as a standalone.
As a standalone movie was great. And then we had Eternals, which, again, very pretty, but where does this fit, in the whole universe, right? Where does this land? Where does this fit?
And then the same with Falcon and the Snowman right after that, right? The first big Disney Marvel series, because it was good. I didn't hate it like everyone else did, but it didn't fit. And I think it made everybody nervous.
You said Falcon and the Snowman?
I'm sorry, yeah.
No, it's funny because that's what every time I want to say that movie, every time I say the same thing.
That started as a joke, and now it's what I call it. Falcon and the Snowman.
That's so funny because I have the same thing, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? Like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue like Falcon and the Snowman.
I said it either.
But Winter Soldier, Snowman,
so many times,
I mean, come on.
The show. It just fits.
No, that made me laugh when you said that. Anyway.
I love them telling more of Winter Soldier's story, but like you just said, it wasn't necessary. It didn't move things along.
It didn't.
It wasn't. It was good, but it wasn't.
You've got this group of third tier characters that are left over, right? You've got Wanda.
Yeah.
Wanda Maximoff. You've got, to your point, Bucky Barnes, a.k.a. Winter Soldier.
Last Doctor Strange movie, I think Wanda might be.
I think Wanda's done.
It might be time
I have
for
no
her,
idea.
Her character to be retired.
But that's, I guess, the thing is what we've come. So, here's where I've landed. We'll talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania more in depth. I rewatched the Ant-Man and then Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I'm going to have to do that
2015, 2018.
A quick note on that. Those movies are really good, but they kind of got overshadowed because there was so much going on with Marvel.
Well, there was some bigger...
So I'm going to have to go back and watch them again, too, because I don't really remember them.
Yeah, so Ant-Man came out in 2015. Civil War was coming out. We just had Captain America: Winter Soldier, which was the introduction of the Russo brothers directing.
See, wouldn't Captain America and the Snowman just be so perfect?
And we had Civil War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp came out after or before. Yeah. No, what was it? It came out after,
just barely,
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah,
not Infinity War. So anyway, here's the thing, and this is kind of where I've landed, is Marvel has painted themselves in a corner and also at the same time kind of dug themselves in a hole. And I Jason, I truly do not know how they get out of it. And unless there is something that comes along that really just reinvigorates the universe.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that these...
I feel like they should have paid somebody a lot of money from that original Avengers core
to stay.
Characters. They should have paid one of them a lot of money to stick around for 2 more movies of a new trilogy, and then kill Iron Man. But maybe that doesn't work either. I don't know, but I think it's a hard transition to make when your characters were that essential to the popularity.
Yeah, the thing I'm stuck at is so I gave Ant-Man like an A-. I gave, or I think I actually gave it a straight up A because I just thought it was, Paul Rudd just made that movie.
It's a really good movie.
And then Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2018, I gave that like a B+ A-. Still thought it was great. There were some throwaway weird things in it.
Too much Michael.
No, I don't even know if it was Michael Douglas. I think what was weird was just all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's Lawrence Fishburne. And then you had that ghost character that was the one that was like, and that just seemed like, why?
Yeah. They had some extra CGI budget.
They were, and then Walter Goggins shows up for who knows
yeah,
why.
That was really strange, actually.
And the really what makes that movie is Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and Paul Rudd's chemistry, plus those three guys that he works with. His little crew, ex-con.
That's actually
those guys
the
are funny.
Best part of the movie, I think.
But what I think struggles, I think that is kind of getting into where Marvel movies struggle sometimes, is that it's really there to just introduce the fact that they're bringing Michelle Pfeiffer back.
Yeah,
or that they find her mom. And then also what else, to have the van with the little portal. Because they need that later on, in Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
And so I think this movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, suffers. It's got some really funny parts. It's obviously beautiful to look at. Probably the most CGI heavy movie of all the three Ant-Man movies, because again, it all takes place in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
I think you can't really. If you go to see it, don't think too hard. You just kind of have
that kind of movie, but that can be fun.
It can. Some people were trying to I don't know. They were really working through the science of it, and I was like, "Hey, spoiler alert! It's not real."
Actually, hold that thought, and let's go to the news, and then keep this conversation on Ant-Man going, because I think that's another way Marvel's painted themselves into a corner.
And it also bleeds into the box office conversation. And I want to reference that Steven Soderbergh interview that I sent you. I think it also leads into some conversations about Oscars. But really, it's the focus today is on Marvel and can they recreate the magic of 2008 to 2019.
And we're going to get meta, too, because we're going to connect this to the future of theater chains, Movie Pass, Disney, streaming services, Hollywood. Yeah. Stay tuned. It's going to get deep in here. We'll be back with more of the For the People movie show right after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News brought to you by U&I Furniture. It's not the first time NBA's All-Star Game will be hosted by the Utah Jazz, but there is a first in the state thanks to the game. A pop-up liquor store now open to host visitors coming to town for this weekend's events. This is the 30th anniversary of the Utah Jazz hosting the All-Star Game, which is predicted to bring massive crowds to Utah. Located in the Salt Palace Convention Center, the store opened Thursday and features products made by Utah distillers, brewers, and cider and winemakers. Department of Alcoholic Beverage Services Director Tiffany Clayson said that the temporary store is an innovative approach to preparing for the influx of visitors to downtown Salt Lake. The store provides convenient walking distance for people attending events in the area while easing congestion and improving safety around the existing downtown Salt Lake liquor store. Look for the temporary store on the east side of the convention center with the entrance through the Utah Visitor Center at 90 Southwest Temple. It will be open until tomorrow. He twice voted in favor of convicting former President Donald Trump in impeachment trials. He criticized his fellow senators who objected to certifying the results of the 2020 presidential election. He even scolded New York Representative George Santos for his audacity in grabbing a prominent seat at the State of the Union speech after admitting to fabricating much of his biography. After 4 years in Washington, Republican Mitt Romney has established himself as a rare senator willing to publicly rebuke members of his own party. But the Utah senator's outspoken stances, along with his willingness to work with Democrats, have angered some Republicans in Utah and led them to cast about for someone to try to dethrone him in a primary race next year. The 75-year-old said he has not made a decision on whether to run for re-election in 2024 and does not expect to until the start of summer. And fire crews responded to a structure fire Thursday morning in Ogden. Officials with the Ogden Fire Department reported that teams were dispatched to the 400 block of 30th Street just before 9:30 a.m. Upon arrival, authorities said a one-story single-family home was seen smoking. According to police records, the home was searched and the two sole occupants were evacuated with no injuries. By 10:15 a.m., representatives of the department said that Ogden fire crews were able to control the blaze. The incident reportedly resulted in an estimated $150,000 in damages and displaced the 2 individuals. Cache Valley weather brought to you by Mount Logan Laundry, located at 1st East, 7th South in Brigham City, and 5th East, 9th North in Logan. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and 55 and 80-pound washers to make your stay much shorter. Mostly cloudy, hazy tonight, patchy fog after midnight, low around 5 below. Partly cloudy tomorrow, patchy morning fog, haze through the day, mid-20s for the high. And then a chance of snow, 1 to 3 inches possible overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning. It's been to 18 today. For the latest news, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Lots of closeouts and store-wide specials as you and I gets ready for new arrivals coming from the furniture market. Dining room sets, sectional sofa and loves, and chairs. If you're not happy with the chair you're watching TV in, come pick out a recliner for you and I's big selection. And if you need a new bed, their favorite new mattress is a therapeutic with copper-infused memory foam. You can tell by just placing your head on that bed how comfortable and cool it is to sleep on. Shop you and I's sale now. Get the low sale price and lay it away until your tax refund shows up. Always a better buy. You and I Furniture, downtown Logan.
Dr. Josh Red, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
If you have low thyroid and you're taking thyroid medication, the biggest question you should ask yourself is what's causing my low thyroid specifically? If you don't know the answer to that question, it's important to call us. At Red River, we identify triggers that will cause the low thyroid to begin with. One of the most common causes of low thyroid is a disease called Hashimoto's disease. This is an autoimmune disease that is a lot more complicated than just a primary thyroid issue. This is why people will be on thyroid hormone but still feel little to no improvement because nothing's being done to address the bigger, more complicated problem, which is Hashimoto's. If you have low thyroid or you have an autoimmune disease and you're on medication and still don't feel well, call Red River.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
It's a cold, blustery night, but you're warm and cozy inside in front of your new low-pi or extraordinaire fireplace. The dancing flames, nice even heat. You and yours are loving it, and you know it's love when they say,
"Boy, we're really saving on our heat bills, aren't we, hun?"
For the love of savings, ask Jim Chimney about rebates up to $3,800 for qualifying conversions from inefficient wood stoves for fireplaces. We sell, service, and install. Visit us at chimchimney.com.
The Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce invites you to attend the annual awards gala on Friday, March 10th at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Enjoy a wonderful evening of fine dining and recognition of Cache Valley's outstanding businesses and individuals, including Citizen of the Year, New Small Business, Event of the Year, Nonprofit, Socially Conscious Business, and Woman of the Year. Don't miss the Cache Chamber Awards Gala Friday, March 10th at the Riverwoods. Reserve your seat at cashchamber.com or call 752-2161.
Hi, this is Tyler. Recently, my father passed away, and White Pine provided the funeral services for our family. They were friendly, thoughtful, and attentive to every detail. You know, it isn't often that a loved one passes away, so it was very important to my family that everything be handled just right. Because my dad was loved by so many people, we had a lot of family and friends that traveled from out of town. I really appreciate how White Pine Funeral Services made sure everyone was comfortable and that the focus was where it needed to be, on my dad and my family. They really took care of us during this tender time.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
I was just confessing to Andy during the break, my everybody's favorite series, Heresy.
You didn't like Breaking Bad?
I couldn't stand Lost. Wasn't that impressed with Breaking Bad. Yeah, I mean, it was good, but I didn't get it. Better Call Saul was better, the spinoff. Way better. And by the way, enough with Breaking Bad cast members in Super Bowl commercials. That was a long time ago. Bryan Cranston is a decent enough actor. He should be doing other stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, you know it is. Well, and things live on today like they never have before because, you've seen it on TikTok where somebody will be like, "This clip, LOL," and you're like, everybody's known about that for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Welcome to the party, pal. It's just.
I get angry at the kids on TikTok sometimes. I don't tell them that I'm angry because I don't want to be that guy.
No.
But sometimes they're like, "Hey, I discovered this thing,"
and you're like, "You did not."
I'm like, you know what? That was like 7 years ago, Junior.
It reminds me of Civil War and when
was not that. I'm not that old.
When Spider-Man says, "Hey, have you guys seen this really old movie called Empire Strikes Back?"
Yeah.
And then Don Cheadle says, "Tony, how old is this kid?" Anyway, yeah.
Kind of...
But see, that's you and I were talking during the break. So let me set the stage here. So Ant-Man and the Wasp. You remember? I went back and watched Ant-Man, and I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man came out in 2015. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out in 2018.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is just a plucky, delightful. It reminds me a lot of Iron Man. And Paul Rudd just really drives
good
it.
Comparison.
It's got great cast. I mean,
never thought of that.
It's got actor. You've got Judy Greer. You've got just his little buddies. Michael Douglas for being an older. I mean, he looks really old.
Yeah.
He's really. I mean, he's got this kind of real world ish that lends that to this.
He was really good for that role because he's supposed to be borderline mad scientist, but not.
Yeah,
and that's kind of Michael Douglas. And but I still say there was too much of him in that movie. But the reason I don't like that is I feel like he became filler.
Well,
a bit. Like the plot wasn't in and of itself wasn't strong enough to drive a whole movie.
Yeah, I think he was, especially. Yeah, I mean maybe a little bit in the first one. I thought, I don't know.
The way I've always understood Ant-Man, though, that was one of my mom's favorite Marvel movies, and she's a huge Paul Rudd fan. But I think the reason I point that out is I think Ant-Man was an extremely accessible superhero movie. You didn't have to be a comic book fan or a Marvel fan.
Okay.
You didn't have to like anybody from the Avengers movies. I mean, you didn't need to know a thing about the canon or the lore. It was just a movie about a guy that accidentally becomes a superhero, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And I think that I'd never thought about this, but you made the comparison to the first Iron Man, and that's exactly what that movie was too.
No,
I mean, he was a billionaire, and Paul Rudd isn't. But
right, but same
in this role,
he's got the charisma.
Yeah,
and again, the rest of the cast is great. Evangeline Lilly, Michael Pena is hilarious. You've got all these character actors. I'm not going to get this guy's name right, but it's David Dastmalchian.
Oh, yeah.
He's also in DC. He plays the Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. Judy Greer, who's a great character actress. Bobby Cannavale, who's in it. And then you have like T.I., right? Corey Stoll. Also, here's a funny thing.
That was funny to me to see that name pop up.
We actually laughed. We were watching... So Sam and I went to the press screening of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania on Monday, and they showed it in IMAX. And I thought what was really funny about it was anytime I go to an IMAX movie, it's like sitting courtside at a basketball game. You're like, well, I don't think I could sit in the upper bowl again because it's just so awesome.
Huge in your face.
It was like, I don't know, we were probably 20 or 30 minutes in, maybe 45 minutes in, and I leaned over to Sam and I said, or maybe it was we were talking about it before. I said, whatever happened to Corey Stoll, right? Like he was the villain in Ant-Man, and he was great. He's a great actor, I think. But I'm like, where did he go? Maybe I missed him. And then all of a sudden, boom, he shows up.
He pops up
in this, and I will say, in my opinion, it is one of the funniest parts of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Cool. He actually is a legitimate character in this, and
that's very cool
for fans of the comics. And I'm not a big Ant-Man comic fan.
I don't think I've ever seen one,
but I don't want to say who he plays because that'll give it away. But the character that he plays, every time I saw him in a video game or on the cartoon or in the comics, I always was like, what? Who thought of this? Like, it's so lame. Like, it's done perfectly.
It's the
but that's oh, sorry, go ahead.
The Geek Show podcast guy, Kerry Jackson.
Yeah.
He has a bit he does on the Geek Show podcast where he discusses in detail the lamest superheroes that actually exist. And there's Compliment Man. I didn't know that. Or maybe it's Courtesy Man or something like that. Anyway, it's a guy that just thanks everybody all the time. But I won't spoil it for anybody either, but he talked about this.
Yeah.
The lamest superhero ever, and it makes the movie, he said.
Yeah. I also think, and again, just so we're all, get our listeners up to speed, what basically happens is, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2018, they shoot Scott into his van, into the quantum
for
realm.
eternal sleep.
And then they're like, okay.
Until the Avengers.
He's supposed to get these healing particles so they can help that ghost character.
I forgot about that part.
And then, they do the countdown to bring him back. And then it just stops. Static. And this was a great little reveal because they had something similar to this, I think, in Captain Marvel at the end. But all of a sudden, there was dust.
Yeah.
And you were like, and it was because of the snap, the blip that Thanos did.
Yeah.
And so when we pick up an Ant-Man,
but Ant-Man didn't know about that.
No, he was just lingering out there. Remember, he was the one that kind of came in and saved the day a little bit in Infinity War or whatever the.
Which one came first?
Who knows?
I don't remember.
But what's great about in Quantumania it picks up. Years later, obviously the world's changed, and he's writing a memoir. He's a little bit of a celebrity, semi-celebrity, third-tier celebrity.
Now that's funny.
But what's weird is, again, remember he was gone for so long that now he has a teenage daughter who she's
have
dead.
They kind of work things out because that's left kind of hanging in the Avengers.
No, when he comes back, they were, she was obviously happy to see him. The one question I did have is I said, well, where'd all his buddies go? And his wife.
Yeah.
And her husband. Are they gone? They didn't answer that.
Well, that's what I mean. If they don't address that. Because
no.
They leave that hanging in the Avengers film, too, and I thought that was kind of a missed opportunity, although it was already 3.5 hours long. So I get it.
But his daughter, she's now a scientist. And she's been trying to map the quantum realm. And this happens, pretty quick. They're down there, and Michelle Pfeiffer's like, wait, what are you doing? You don't want to map it? You'll send a signal to him. And they'd shown a little bit of a kind of a hey before. And, it was when she was down in the quantum realm, this guy just crash lands there, and it's Jonathan Majors who plays Kang. And she and that's kind of what sets up the foreboding about him is that Michelle Pfeiffer really is legitimately frightened of this person.
Do you feel like they're setting up or at least leaving the door open for the whole Thanos multi-film bad guy thing with Kang, or is he just this movie?
No, Kang is the new villain.
He's the new overall
he is the big
bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This next phase of Marvel is called the Multiverse Saga.
Yeah.
And I believe the Multiverse Saga is supposed to come to an end with Avengers: The Kang Dynasty or something like that. I can't remember the name of the title of the film. So,
and supposedly 2 more instead of a trilogy for Spider-Man. He's getting 4.
Yeah,
because of that, because of the multiverse angle.
We have some waiting to do in phase 5 and 6. For instance, the next movie now after this that comes out is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That hits in May, I believe.
Which, if I had to guess, doesn't move things along very far as and I think bigger picture tie-in stuff.
Yeah, but I think they're wrapping that up. That's May 5th, 2023. Then the Marvels That hits theaters in November. And then we don't have another Marvel movie until Captain America New World Order in May 3rd, 2024. And then in July of 2024, we have Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And then in September of that year, you've got Blade.
Which...
I'm actually excited for that one. I think that would be cool. But
I'm fully expecting to be wrong, but man, right up there with Lost and Breaking Bad as far as I don't get it.
Blade or just the whole...
Blade in general. As a character. I get a kick out of the Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Just because they were 90s movies, you know. So they're kind of funny. But the character in general, when I saw that was going to be a big part of all this, I was kind of... I don't know. They'll surprise me. I felt the same way when they said that Captain America was going to factor in big time in the Marvel Universe, because I've always thought he was kind of a meh superhero too, and he ends up being one of my favorites from the films.
Well, the weird thing here is, again, I don't know where this all lands.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, you know, because you have the plans and. Yeah, it's just this is a weird spot for Marvel to be in, you know, because again they had everything laid out, you know, but when you get into the multiverse saga, you know, we've had Phase 4, which was Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man: No Way Home, Doctor Strange, which fell flat on its face.
Yeah.
Thor: Love and Thunder, which it wasn't able to recreate the magic of Thor Ragnarok.
No.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, nominated for an Oscar. I mean, I think that and probably Spider-Man: No Way Home, and then probably Shang-Chi were the best of that.
Yeah,
Black Widow,
top 3, definitely.
Black Widow should have been a movie that was in the original Marvels, you know, their Phase 3 and 2 and 1.
I really think if they would have shoved that in like they did with... because
that was a miss.
It was really good, but so horribly, timed after the fact.
Yeah, total miss.
Because that was a great movie. And we should point this out, too. It does appear they're setting up like a multi-film opportunity for Harrison Ford in all of this.
In Marvel?
Yeah. With the Thunderbolts.
He's
playing Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, because he's replaced... I can't think of his name, but you know what I'm talking about. He just passed away.
Yeah.
I can't... William Hurt.
Yeah.
William Hurt. One other quick note. So after we get to Blade in September of 2024, Phase 6, there are 4 films that are scheduled.
Yeah.
Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
But that's under Marvel now, remember?
Yeah.
That wasn't before, because it was Fox.
Yeah.
And so they made a lot of fun of Marvel. So I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be
I kind of feel like they're going to be making more fun of Marvel.
Well, I just think it presents a big opportunity for, again, these cast of characters to come together to be kind of this new Avengers.
Yeah.
You've got the Fantastic Four, which will come out in February of 2025. Then you've got Avengers, the Kang Dynasty, which we talked about.
Yeah.
That's May 2nd, 2025. And then a year later, you've got Avengers Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And that's all that's been laid out. But I just don't know what to say, because, you know, I see a lot of possibility, but so far I just haven't seen the magic ignite like it was before. So
yeah, remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. Yes.
I messed up. Sorry about this. We've got one more break. We're gonna have to go to it.
That's okay.
All right. We'll be back with more of the movie show right after this.
Elements has delicious lunch specials, 2 for $30, or the new soup, salad, and bread special for just $10. It's tasty and quick. Elements lunch menu is full of scrumptious items prepared with a personal touch. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite Munster burger, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9 p.m. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations today.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
That is our time for this week's movie show. Andy Morgan will be back with us next Friday at 5, and we're going to be talking about a review of and discussing in depth a movie that actually exists with this actual title, a horror film called Cocaine Bear. That is next week on the For the People movie show. Dave Ramsey next here on KVNU Logan.